Hello everyone, welcome back to Reload, Episode 5, Test Drive 6. Let's reload. If this is your first time to the channel, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe, it's free. Follow me or ring that bell, that way you know the next time another episode will air. Test Drive 6 is a racing video game that was developed by Pitbull Syndicate for the Sega Dreamcast in the United States. The game was published by Infogrames North America. The game featured 37 licensed cars, plus it had 4 police car variants. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic in this game. Unfortunately, I know it would get me demonetized instantly, especially with this version of Cars. And man, with the song playing and this showing in the background, it gets you really pumped up and ready to play a racing game here. Now, this game released in North America back in November 30th of 1999. And it is, of course, the 6th test drive game in the series. Now, of course, there's some spin-offs, some off-road series and stuff like that. But Test Drive 6, for the most part, is a really fun game. It does not handle like your typical racers. I guess the best way to put it is you feel like you're sliding around a lot until you put like some crazy tires on it. Then you wish it would slide a little bit more. It has a rough time. It is fun to play, don't get me wrong. The handling is an acquired taste, so I don't think everyone is going to enjoy this game as they should. I think the handling is going to hinder some people from wanting to play this game. I enjoyed it. I had a blast. Like I said, it took me a little bit to figure it out, but once I figured it out, I moved forward. Now, in order to race in tournament mode, you have to buy your first car, and they give you a decent amount of cars to choose from. So you got a 99 Elise, Audi, Marcos, a Lotus, F-150, a Jaguar, Plymouth Prowler. I mean, how many games have that in it? The Hemi Cuda, couple Ford Mustangs, and I partially, like the good old Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. I just don't prefer the color scheme. I'm more of a purple guy myself, so most of my cars will be purple today. Once you've made your car selection to start off, you still have a little bit of extra cash depending on which car you pick. I recommend doing some upgrades right away. It just makes it a little bit easier to achieve a first place finish. And a very important thing to note here is you can adjust most of the parts even before you put new parts on. What I mean by that is gear ratios, brakes, you know, front to rear bias, and stuff like that. Just really helps with a better enjoyment of the game. So if it's your first time playing, I suggest, you know, trying out certain settings and see what's going to work out better for you until you find what fits. And of course, when you start upgrading further, the car starts handling different, so do not get comfortable with the way the car handles with the current adjustments that you'll make right off in the beginning. Make sure you leave some money for betting. You can't go to the first round without betting. So don't spend all your money. You have to be able to place a bet. That way there's a tournament pot. Now, you do win money per race, so you will have some more money after the first race. But if you don't have the 600 credits to start the first race by betting, then you will not be able to actually play, and you'll have to start all over right from the beginning, and that's kind of silly. It actually lets you spend all that money and then say, oh, by the way, you need to have $600 in order to place on your first race. So it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe you should have stopped me, game, from spending all but 600, but, you know, 600 is the minimum. You can bet more than that. I picked today's game mostly because I think the Sega Dreamcast has a lot of hidden gems with race games, and I picked up this one specifically because I was collecting the Test Drive series, and when I noticed that it was on the Dreamcast as well as PlayStation, I was like, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and get this version for the Dreamcast. And after playing this game all the way through, and realizing that there is a difference between the consoles, it kind of makes me a little sad because I was not expecting every car to sound the same. I believe the PlayStation version actually has different sound clips for the cars. And what's funny is that the Dreamcast is praised for being able to handle sound bits better and at a higher fidelity. So I'm a little confused why it got dropped out, but that's a comparison between consoles. I usually don't do that. I usually take each game for what it is and how it plays. So I'm going to focus mostly on how the Dreamcast handles and how it plays, because that's the console that I'm playing it on. So aside from tournament mode, which you can use in order to progress and unlock higher class cars and more cash, which I highly recommend doing, once you've gotten all the cash and you souped up your car, like this Viper here, this Viper is tuned up to the max, and it becomes extremely difficult to drive the cars unless you're at a high rate of speed. At a lower speed, the car will just churn on a dime, and it's crazy how responsive it is. And that's because the tires are maxed out and everything else, and it's an acquired taste. And I know right now it just looks like all I'm doing is bouncing all off the walls, and you're like, why'd you max it out this far? When it comes to racing and tournament mode, you have to. There's no way to keep up with them unless your car's fast enough to catch back up after hitting something. So it's just it handles, but like I said, it's like it's on ice. It's not a very it's a very tight control, but at the same time it's sloppy. If that makes any sense at all. So the challenge modes, it's basically a time attack. The game itself has a couple races that are point to point, and it seems that the challenge mode is focused on these point to point races and see if you can get to the other side before the timer runs out. So you got challenge modes as well on top of the tournament modes. Yeah, that's not me turning into the walls like that. That is actually the way the car handles it. You hit another car and it just pulls one direction. Another mode that we have here is the cop mode, which is cool. So you gotta basically catch up to all these cars, sideswipe them, get in front of them and stop, whatever it takes, and to give them their tickets. Kind of feel like a little bit of a Need for Speed ripoff here, but it's not horrible. It plays well. It's quite a challenge with the way they drive. I do not recommend focusing on one car though until you get to the front of the pack. Because, man, they'll walk away. You won't ever see them again. The sirens are a bit annoying. It's just constant. If you're far enough behind them or ahead of them, it will stop the siren, which is nice, but you have no control of the siren whatsoever. And the siren, again, just like the car's engines, seem to be the same across all the cars. Double takedown. There is no time, but just like the challenge modes, these take place on the point-to-point races, and they remove the map, so you don't have that to help guide you. But take down all 5 suspects and you win that course. So that's the Stop the Racers mode for the cop mode. And then the next one is the bomber mode. So what happens is the car that you're trying to stop is constantly dropping bombs. Like, he has an infinite amount of bombs for the entire track. You gotta find a way around the explosion, because if you get caught in the explosion, it'll just bounce your car off to the side. So you gotta get in front of him, you gotta stop him, the same way you would stop the racers in the Stop the Racers mode. So you either gotta sideswipe them till you do enough damage, or you gotta get in front of them and get them to stop. Some of the courses are quite a challenge to get around just because it's tight. There's nowhere to go. The bomb takes up almost the whole road. So you need to use the shortcuts in order to get around them sometimes. Or sometimes he'll take a shortcut, and that's your opportunity to get in front of them and stop them. And if you don't take advantage of that opportunity, you might spend the whole race just trying to catch up. And believe me, once you're trying to play the catch-up game, it becomes a bit of a challenge just to be able to get him before you run out of track. Now, luckily in this case, I am able to catch up to him and stop him. But as you can see, the sirens have stopped because I'm no longer close enough to him. what I can tell, the TVR seems to be the fastest police officer vehicle to use. Oh, he took the shortcut. See how he's up there? So now I can just stop him as he comes out right here. Boom. You are stopped. Done deal. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the reload.